Hey everybody, Gary Braun here again with Pivotal Advisors, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about strategic planning. And specifically, there's 7 things that you should avoid to make sure your strategic plan doesn't end up on the shelf or in a binder and nobody executing it. So we're going to start with the stages. When we set up strategic planning, we like to look at the current state, we like to look at the desired state, then we come up with our initiatives or the cool things that we want to do, then we look at our resources to figure out whether we've got the right people and the right seats and whatnot, then we put together our plans and we start executing. That's a basic process. Yours might be a little bit different, but that's the process. Here's where things can go wrong. We lose sight of our long-term vision because we're dealing with short-term issues. The pandemic is a perfect example of this. People went into strategic planning and the pandemic, and they're like, how do we deal with this? And we need to shut these things down. We need to fire these people. We need to furlough those. But the long-term plan says we're growing and we're going to need those things. Yes, those are tactics, but we want to make sure that those short-term tactics don't get in the way of executing our long-term plan. So whenever we're deciding to do anything different that could affect our long-term plan, we really need to have a discussion around that. So the first one is always keep that long-term vision in mind. The next part, some of you might have issues with, but don't facilitate it yourself. Sometimes get somebody from the outside who's unbiased, who doesn't have their own politics or their own agenda. And no matter how we try, our own opinions and our own influences tend to bleed in when we're doing our own facilitating, especially if you're the boss. If you say to the rest of the team, I think this is a good idea, are you going to have all your subordinates going, no, boss, I don't think so? Maybe. In some good, healthy sales leadership teams, they will. But a lot of times your influence can really sway the direction of it. And that's not what you want. You want everybody really being forthcoming with all of their good ideas. So consider having somebody else facilitate it so you're getting really true thinking on the table. The next one is what I just started to talk about is we're not taking time to really ideate. We have a few ideas, we start to talk about those, we get locked into those, and then we go forward. There are a lot of good ideas, and if you have a good leadership team, there are brilliant people out there who could come up with bigger things. Don't cut this piece of your planning short. This can be the most valuable thing. These can be some of the most outstanding ideas ever, but don't cut short your ideating. Next one, don't finalize a plan until everybody's on board. I have seen way too many strategic planning messages where we kind of walk out there and we're like, I don't think so. And then we have the meeting after the meeting where we talk about, well, I didn't think that was a very good idea. Guess what's going to happen to that plan when we go to execute it? People aren't bought in. They're not going to do it. So do not finalize any plan until you got everybody on that leadership team agreeing that this is the direction that we're going to march in. Next part is another one that really hurts sometimes is not creating a tactical plan that allows for adjustments. So we have our big plan and we go and we roll it out to our team, but we got to break this into chunks so the team knows what to do. And we have to have our right leading indicators to know whether our plan is working or not. So just because I said this is what we're going to do doesn't mean it's going to work. I need to know, are we getting meetings? Are we getting new opportunities? Are we getting penetration? Is our new messaging working? We need a way to check that so we can adjust if it's not. Next one, when we roll it out to our team, we don't communicate it well. We have been thinking about all of this stuff. We have been probably in a conference room coming up with it for hours and hours, and we've got all the rationale and thinking in our head. But when we roll it out to our team, it sounds like, go do this. And they're like, why in the world would I do that? We need to explain what our rationale was, what our reasoning is, how they fit into the overall mix, what role they're going to play in this. We need to give them the complete story and the context, not just go do this. And then the last one, I've seen probably one of the more critical ones. I've seen so many plans fall apart because we don't have the accountability in place. We need to have a follow-up system, a tracking system, to make sure people are actually executing on the plan that we said. I want metrics, I want follow-up meetings, I want to see if it's actually working. Without that, people get jazzed about it, they're into it about 30 days, they get busy, they're back to old habits, and our plan falls apart. So those are 7 quick things, but we see these strategic plans ever. We see them fall apart because we're missing out on some of these things. So as you head into your strategic planning, keep these things in mind. If you like this video and you want to see more like this, click on like, please. And also subscribe to this. And thank you for watching.